Hi, everybody. Welcome to Good, the podcast for those that do. This is Shivo, and as always, I'm here with D-Fran. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good evening, sir. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, you
I
too,
don't know
man.
what to say there, man. I really,
Yeah.
I never know what to. This is probably fun to leave in there, a couple of this bullshit, but like, I never know what to tell you. Like, hey, Shivo, it's good to not see you, or I guess hear you, or I don't know, but yeah, let's crank it out. Let's crank it out, man.
Let's crank it out. All right.
Cool.
So since it's been a little while since it's just been the two of us on here, we've had a lot of guests these last few episodes, and what we want to do tonight is kind of recap the four guests that we've had on and kind of tell you guys our take home points and what we really got out of interviewing those people and getting to know those individuals throughout the last few months.
Yeah, I think we picked up a lot of followers over the past the past few weeks, past month or so. Some may have heard the first episode, some may not have, and maybe they will revisit, maybe they won't. But I think that there's a lot of good points that we got from every one. And ideally, the goal here is to kind of go through those a little bit. And if there's something from that sticks, there's a whole podcast for you to dig in a little bit deeper for that. But if anything, this gives you a Cliff Notes version of good from the beginning to now.
That's right. So the first person that we interviewed for the show was an individual named Antionette Minor, a girl that we met on Twitter, and she has her own blog about being a young professional, being a millennial in corporate America, and what it takes to be successful in that role and how to interact with people that are 20, 30 years older than you, that have been in the business longer than you've been alive, and what it takes to handle all that. And so, one of the biggest things that I took from talking to her and really getting to know her was the importance of building a network and putting yourself out there and meeting new people. She talked a lot about how the people that she has gotten to know, the people kind of within her circle, are the people that helped her go from one career to the next and to the one that she's currently in. And that if it wasn't for her network and if it wasn't for being social and going to conferences and things like that, she never would have gotten to meet those people, and she would probably not be in the position that she's in now. And that all happens through good communication, and sometimes you need to pick up the phone and call somebody instead of shooting a text message or an email that might be interpreted one way or another.
Yeah, Antonette had a lot of really good points.
Yeah, she did.
And as she was going through those, developing, her story and, why she does what she does, Shav, I got to admit, I thought a lot about you. Any single time, we talk a lot about you getting jobs, you looking for jobs or applying for jobs. Anytime we've ever done that, you typically know someone to go to. You have a tight circle, and you typically start at the same spot, but you end up getting into and meeting other people. So if you could, why don't we relate a little bit of what Antionette does really well, and I'll touch on what I pulled from her as well, but kind of go into that a little bit, Mike. I think that'd be beneficial for not only for myself to hear, but I think it would do our listeners, whoever's following this, a good service to kind of hear how you work that circle, how you got people into it, and how you get things out of it.
Right. Yeah, so being in kind of the position I'm in right now, where I am mildly looking for different jobs out there in collegiate athletics, and so if I hear of a university that has a job opening, the first thing I think of is, okay, do I know anybody at that university in any capacity, whether they're an athletic trainer, a coach, a strength coach, an athletic director, anybody? Does anybody I know work there? No. Okay, I don't know anybody that works there. Do I know somebody that knows someone that works there? and I kind of continue on that path until I find someone. And I can usually, everyone says that there's that 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, and I kind of take that mentality into finding out, who in my network knows somebody else, and how quickly can I get to that person. It's always easier for someone to say, oh yeah, my one of my really good friends is interested in this job, as opposed to saying, oh hey, I have a friend who knows a guy that used to work with a guy that's interested in this job. It can certainly help having 3 or 4 steps away. But the closer you are to that person, obviously the easier it's going to be. Um, but how I've kind of been able to grow that circle is I've got, 4 or 5 people that I stay in touch with regularly, that are athletic trainers, that are coaches, that are strength coaches. And those are the people that I'll can turn to and say, hey, do you know anybody at this place? And they'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, I know somebody there. I'll reach out to them. And it's that kind of stuff that has helped me, and that I keep a few people very close, and they can kind of branch out and pull other people into the circle as needed. And I mean, it has helped me, certainly made some connections and got me a little bit further in the process. It certainly has also not helped me. And just because I know people that know people doesn't mean
Sure.
every university in the country is dying to offer me a job, but it's
Right.
put me towards the top of the pile, so to speak, in your resume and your cover letter and your application. Uh, so if you can keep a few people close and then rely on those people to pull in others as needed.
Yeah, I imagine Antoinette probably has a good circle.
Oh,
One thing that stuck out to me is that she didn't have a mentor. I know exactly without a doubt who yours is. Big Duke. But you know, it stuck out to me that she did have a mentor. But what really stuck out to me was her reasoning why. It's not to just pick up any mentor that may be older, or younger, or more experienced, or wise, whatever it is. She puts a lot of weight on that role. She puts a lot of value on that role. And you were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to go to Florida and meet someone very, very valuable in that role as a mentor, and really help, I think, shape you into the athletic trainer that you will become. And
thank you.
I respect Antoinette a lot for not just gravitating towards one person with experience, or one person that's done something that she's done, or that has been around the block. She wants to be inspired. She wants to actively continue to get better and grow her circle, or make her circle stronger. And I see that a lot with you, and I see that a lot with the way you speak to Duke, and the way you communicate with Duke, and value his opinion, value his guidance. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely is. And it's, everyone I think needs to have a person like that. And that person will come along eventually. You can't pressure it. You can't make it happen. It'll happen kind of spontaneously. And then that's when you're set up with the right person.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
The one takeaway that stuck out to me, we talked a lot about how well Antionette network. I think she does a really good job of connecting to people and putting herself in situations to be successful at connecting. She focuses a lot of time, a lot of consistent time on her blog. She focuses a lot of time getting out and seeing people, going to a women's conference, going down to Miami for a day. I respect her a lot for recognizing opportunity, and I respect her a lot for using that opportunity to have an ability to connect. have an ability to grow what she's trying to get out. It's very difficult to cultivate your own content. I think one thing that I struggle with often is very easy to replicate something. I think if the wheel has already been created, it's not that difficult to recreate the wheel. It's not that difficult to just start doing what someone else has already paved the way for you to do. But what Antionette does is say, no, I have a unique opportunity now to reach a base of people. I have a unique opportunity now to reach out and get my take and get my feelings about being a millennial in corporate America, being someone who's a young professional, and my trials, tribulations, success, failures. She does a fantastic job at putting herself in successful situations. When we were going through that interview with Antionette, Mike,
yeah,
the thing that stuck out to me is that she's not much different than a lot of people that I know, that a lot of people you know, that a lot of people that are listening to this podcast right now. She's not much different. What she did or does extraordinarily well is she puts herself in positions to be successful. She puts herself in areas to network, to connect, and to get better at networking and connecting. It's hard. It's awkward sometimes. It doesn't feel comfortable. It's not going to feel comfortable the first time. It's not going to feel comfortable the second time. It may not even feel comfortable the third. The more you do something, the better you do it, the better you're going to be at it. I speak a lot in front of groups, whether it's a small group of 10 or a large group of 50 or however much the group is. It's not easy speaking in front of people. I get nervous just like the next person. The difference between why I enjoy it, why I thrive at public speaking, why some people that's the most common fear, their biggest fear is public speaking. I got more reps. I've done it over and over again. I feel comfortable. I know what that feeling is like. Talking to someone, and a little bit of a side note here is, say, hey, what's your biggest fear? Someone said snakes. And I said, wow, that's so funny. I'm also afraid of snakes, but I grew up when I was a little kid. We would just you see a snake in the street, just pick it up by the head and walk, oh, I got a snake, And there's people that handle snakes, that they work in zoos. And look, I'm getting way off topic as far as what that means, but the reason I went down that path is they're no different than you and I. They just have more experience with something that you don't. Fear is fear of not knowing something, right? Being afraid is I don't know. I don't know how to network. I don't know how to connect. So I'm afraid to connect. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you don't know how. It just means you're not experienced in that area. And Antionette does a fantastic job of gaining experience in something that I think is one of the most valuable traits that you can do. Mike, I mean, you may not have got to Florida. You didn't leverage the connections that you had. If you didn't network the way you did it and put yourself in scenarios to be successful. Go down to, I know you left us for a whole summer. You left us and went to Disney or ESPN, and sitting there thinking, Mike's doing what he needs to do to put himself in a scenario to be successful. And Antionette does the same thing. So, I'll digress a little bit there, but I think that she did a fantastic job of recognizing opportunity and putting herself in scenarios to be successful and gain experience.
Yeah, 100%. And, she does a great job at that. And not only does she do a good job at that for herself, but she also is encouraging others to get out there and do it as well and make it seem like it's not this big daunting task. And if you need help, I'll help you do it. And she's really trying to make a difference. And that's why we had her on the podcast, and that's why she's someone that we really support and someone that will likely have back on the podcast. So
Hey, before we leave this topic,
yeah.
why don't you tell everybody how we even found it? How did Antionette become part of this podcast, become a guest on this podcast? How did that happen?
So when we first started up the Twitter a few months ago, it was through an automated message, a direct message that gets sent out that a lot of people do when they have a Twitter, like, that's promoting their blog or promoting their website or whatever. They have this automated message that gets sent out. Hey, this is who I am. Thanks for following me. Here's my website. Reach out to me. And at the time, I didn't know that that was an automated thing. I thought, oh, she sent that to me. So I replied back saying, hey, this is what we're trying to do. This is our podcast. I like your content. Let's talk. And then we talked back and forth a little bit on the direct messages, started emailing, and after going through her website a few times and seeing what she had to say, it was a no-brainer to bring her on. And that can be said for a couple of the people that we've interviewed on this podcast.
I would absolutely agree. In fact, I would say that the very next person we interviewed did a great job at that as well.
Yeah. So the next guy we interviewed was a friend of a friend, one of our really close friends from home. Told us, hey, I got this guy. He started a clothing line called Live Breathe Football. His name's Ebun. He's our age. He's from Philly. He's probably the guy you'd like to have on the show. And so got his contact information, sent him an email, said, hey, man, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we're all about. You're doing a lot of really good stuff with your clothing brand. Would you like to be on the show? And he was all for it. And we really got to know him too. And yeah, so why don't you talk a little bit about Ebun?
Yeah, I'll kick off the Ebun part of it. Ebun was pretty inspiring, right? I mean, you meet a guy who decides he's gonna do something a little bit better than what's currently out there. You recognize that there was not an issue. You recognize that he had a passion for soccer, and what he still has. Has a passion for soccer, but one of the things that he recognized that, hey, these guys are going out and they're wearing soccer jerseys that just don't really look that clean. They don't look that. They don't look like street clothes. Is a good way to word that. And a quote that I want to preference my thoughts about Ebun with is, you can live in vision or you can live in circumstance. And what I got from that is that Ebun could have easily lived in the circumstances of soccer clothing. He could have said, hey, there's some great jerseys out there. There's a couple other Nike T-shirts that they're doing this, that, and other things. But, yeah, I can make a clothing line like that, and it can market that and make something happen, right? But get a vision that soccer clothes, soccer wear, soccer street clothes, football, I should say. Why am it's called football. Football doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be just jerseys. It doesn't have to be just a Man U or, a Barcelona Messi jersey or whatever it is. It can be anything. And he had a vision that he articulated into a Kickstarter that's raised thousands and thousands of dollars for one of what I'd argue is a really, really, it's a genius product, and it's for soccer players by soccer players, for footballers by footballers. And, I really love the way Ebun has a passion. If anyone knows me, they know I'm a pretty passionate person, and I gravitate to those types of people. Ebun was so passionate about soccer, so passionate about putting out a great product. And I know he'll be successful not only because he's surrounded by great people, but because he has a vision. He can see where he wants to take this brand. And I believe one of the reasons why he can see where he wants to take his brand is based on his experiences. Now, I think that's something that you touched on, right? I mean, that's something that you picked up pretty heavily when we were talking and prepping earlier before this conversation, that he was surround himself with good people, right?
Right, yeah. He really, Ebun was able to find a mentor early on that really supported him and guided him through what it's going to take to make a brand and make it be what you want it to be and be passionate about it and to do it well. And so he left home, left Philly, a place that he kind of never really left, and went out to Seattle, to the other side of the country, for a few months to learn under this guy. And stepping out of your comfort zone and taking a risk like that is something that gave him that push to, this is the investment that I'm going to make into my idea and into my vision, and I'm going to make it happen from here on out. So, it's those kind of things that, you look at this guy and you say, yeah, there's no doubt he's going to be successful. No doubt that everybody in the country is going to have an LBF T-shirt, and not only because it's cool, but because when you get to know the guy that created it, he's doing it for a reason. He's doing it more than just the dollar signs. That this is something that it's a lifestyle that he wants to live and that he wants other people to be aware of.
Absolutely. You know what that reminds me? There's someone else that we interviewed that really talk about stepping out of their comfort zone. How comfortable would you be with $400 in your pocket going across the country?
I would be quite uncomfortable, to say the least. So that brings us to interviewee number 3, musician Damien Horne. Again,
Mr. Retweet is what I like to call him.
That's right. He is active on our Twitter. Another great guy, another guy that we met on Twitter through direct messaging, leading to hundreds of emails trying to lock him down because he's such a busy guy. But when we finally did, it was well worth the wait. Damien is currently a musician living out of Nashville that travels the world as a professional musician, making money, playing music, writing music. And I think on the surface, you're like, man, this guy's living the dream. But boy, was it hard for him to get there. And
sure was, man. Sure was.
Yeah.
And, you go from, I don't want to give away all podcasts. And you go from traveling the country, going across the country to start an opportunity. You're homeless, you come back, you're still homeless. And famous musician sees you. Why was he walking on that street? Why did he stop by? Why did he resonate to Damien's music? I don't know. Maybe it was his passion. But a famous musician walks by and gives you an opportunity, and he sees it, and he crushed it.
Right. And he was ready.
He was ready.
I think that's something we talk about a lot, is that, follow your opportunity, bring your passion with you, but be ready. And you never know when that opportunity is going to come. And it's something that he had been waiting for so long. It's something he'd been practicing for so long, and he'd been homeless for so long. And he had been preparing every single day, playing his own music, writing his own music, saying that the day that somebody walks past me that's influential, they're not going to stop. There's no way they keep walking. And when that opportunity comes, I'm going to be ready, and I'm going to make it. And it takes a special kind of person to have that type of persistence and be ready for, I don't even know how many years. But he seized the opportunity when it presented himself. And now he's a guy that gives back to his community. He's a guy that travels the world as a professional musician. He's met some of the biggest names in music, and he's worked with them, and he's written songs for them. And it's all because he stepped out of his comfort zone and took a really big risk.
You know, hey, just because he was home, just because he was running around going from this opportunity to that opportunity. Success is when opportunity meets preparation. Just like you said, he was prepared. Whether or not that famous musician is going to walk down that street and see him, he's prepared for the day it happens. It's going to happen. Because you're going to follow your passion. You're going to follow the opportunity and bring your passion with you. And what's going to come from that is you're going to be prepared. And the day you need to be prepared is the day you hit success. You get lucky. And that's the quote. Luck is, opportunity, preparation. So Damien did a fantastic job at that. And but one of my biggest takeaways from him, which one could I pick? But I mean, it takes a lot of balls to take $400 and go across the map. You got a fire in your belly that you know you're going to make it. How did he know? How did Damien know he was going to make it when he never made it before? How did you know that? I wish I could ask him that now. And I'm sure we'll talk to him soon. I can't wait to bring it back on one day. But how did you know you were going to make it? You probably didn't. You probably didn't know you were going to make it. You know what he knew? He knew that he loved what he was doing. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Oh, it'll be hard. It's easy to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger when you're hungry. It's easy to go to bed early and not send that extra email or read for 10 minutes of a good book. It's easy to say I'm not going to go to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning to work out. It's really, really easy to do all of those things. If you do all of those things, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard and you pick up $400, you go across the country to follow an opportunity and bring your passion with you, and then you come all the way back and say, I don't care that I'll be homeless. I'll make it work. I'll live in Nashville. There's an opportunity there for me. I got the passion to make that opportunity. Hard. So hard. And then, not for nothing, but then when he got the opportunity, guess what? It ain't over yet, buddy. Now you got to work even harder. Now you got to grow that opportunity. Now you have it. What are you going to do with it? Just because you got it doesn't mean it's going to be there forever. I respect Damien so much for his ability to say, I don't care how hard something is. I got fire. And nobody else has my fire for what I do. And I'm going to do it. And if you want to do it, let's rock, man. We can do it together. But just know that I got passion and I'm going to be here for a long time. I've been really jamming on some Will Smith YouTube videos recently. Oh, man, and he has this quote. He goes, the difference between you and I is that if we get on a treadmill, two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to die or you're going to get off first. One of those two things are going to, either I'm going to die on this treadmill or you're going to get off first, but you're not going to outwork me. And I believe Damien has that passion for his craft, has that passion to continue to get better. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day, and however active he is on Twitter and however active he is on doing his shows, getting out there and getting exposure, seeing more people and writing music and getting involved with the best position in the industry today, does that. He uses his 24 hours really well.
He sure does.
He works hard. He works real hard, man. He does well. So.
Yeah, and then real quick, a quote that as soon as you said the Will Smith one that really hit me was from Eric Thomas.
Uh-oh.
He says,
E.T.
He says, so Eric Thomas, the hip-hop preacher, says, you will not have more drive than I have. You will not have more passion than I have. And I'll beat you every single day because I've got passion. And that's it. I mean, that's what Damien represents. Period.
End of story.
Yeah.
Resilience. Speaking of resiliency, I'd say one of the most resilient people we've interviewed got to be, Mark. I mean, he overcame one of the most difficult things to overcome facing our society today.
That's right.
And he was able to turn that into something very successful. So why don't we touch base on Mark?
Yeah. So again, Mark, he is a guy that we met on Twitter. He's
How do you
a
pronounce Mark's last name?
Azoulay, Marc Azoulay. So he's a psychotherapist from Boulder, Colorado. Uh, as a psychotherapist, he works with a lot of clients on, uh, mental health, if you will. He does a lot with addiction counseling and people that suffer with anxiety or PTSD, things like that. And he helps work with them through some psychological issues. Um, and I think one of the best things about Mark is that, and we didn't know this setting up this interview or when we were talking to him beforehand or anything like that. We didn't find this out until we were in the interview, is that he battled his own substance abuse problems himself, and he's very open about it. And that's, I think, the thing that makes him very good at what he does is that he has clients that are battling the same battles he has had, and
Right.
he can empathize with those people, and his clients can tell that, and they'll respect a guy that says, "Hey man, listen, I've been there. I know exactly what you're going through, and I'm gonna help you get out of it." And that's something that I can't do. I can sit here all night long and tell you everything I've ever read or everything I've ever tried, but there's no way that I could share that feeling that somebody truly battling addiction or truly battling anxiety has. I can sympathize with them all day long, but until you have that true empathy is when you're going to be great at what you do in that field.
Can you touch on a little bit here on what he talked about with masculinity?
Yeah. So one of the best things I thought about what Mark had to say was, he sees a lot of male clients, and he says that a lot of them are in their 20s, you know, they've gone through college, they've done this, they've done that. But what they're struggling with in relationships or just in life is like, what does it mean to be a man? And that in today's society, whether it's right or wrong, everyone is on an equal playing field, and that's how it should be. But at the end of the day, there's this masculinity that is being deprived from our culture. And being masculine doesn't mean putting women down or being abusive or ruling with an iron fist or anything crazy like that. Being masculine means being responsible and making an impact in the world and growing a society or growing a product or creating a family and setting a good example for that, watching it grow, and then getting to the point in your life where you can step back, watch what you've done and the lessons that you've instilled in others, and watch that cycle continue. And that's what being masculine is. That's what is lost in our society. And it's not something that I knew until we spoke with Mark. And I think about it a lot, and I think like, man, that's exactly what it's about. That's exactly what being a man should be. And that's what our society needs more of.
Who's the most masculine man you know, Mike? Or let me rephrase that. Yeah, you don't have to know him personally. Who do you think the most masculine person that you know exists?
Jocko Willink.
Surprise, surprise. Why do you think so?
Because it's not because he was a Navy SEAL. It's not because he's fought in wars. It's not
He's
because
jacked out of his mind and
exactly.
chiseled and looks like
It's
a warrior.
it's not that. That's this Hollywood masculinity.
Agreed.
What he does and what he preaches and what he lives by is this idea that I'm going to take responsibility, extreme ownership of what I do. I'm going to lead through example, and I'm going to show others how to lead. And then there's going to come a time where I detach from everything that I've done, and I can sit back and watch those that I trained train others and continue in the beliefs that I have and watch all that grow.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah. And so to sit here and compare, our guy Jocko to Marc Azoulay from Boulder, Colorado, it could have been a stretch, but I think it's right on. And that's what, he spoke a lot about that.
No, man, that is right on, though. It goes right to the core of what you just said, is that, wow, why is it a stretch to compare Mark to Jocko? Oh, because Jocko's this big, scary-looking warrior, and Mark's a therapist. No, that's not what masculine is. That's exactly what the point is. The point is that both of them are masculine, because both of them possess the discipline. Both of them possess the ability to recognize that it's not about being a big tough guy. It's not about imposing will. It's about doing over and over again, consistently being the best version that you can be of you. And you're a man, you're a man. You're a man. You're going to be masculine. You're going to be the best person that you can be. You're going to be a strong, mentally strong. Not physically strong, mentally strong. I think that takes a lot. And if you can translate that into your personal life, to your work life, to your whatever life, that's masculine.
That's right. That's exactly it.
For Shivo, there's 4 people that we just talked about. Let's try to recap the quick hits of what we got from them. So I think that, Antionette, we both agree it's marketing, networking and connectability, right? She did a fantastic job of that. She still does it today. If she's listening to this right now, keep it up. Antionette, we're rooting for you. I think you got something really cool going for you. When it comes to a guy like Ebun, man, talk about a guy that really had an opportunity to be successful, but really knew how to gain experience. This guy has so much experience at a young age doing something that he's really passionate about, and he's not living in the circumstances of the environment that he saw and the environment that he loves. He has a vision. Yeah, if you have a vision, anyone listening, do you have a vision? What's your vision? What is it? If you don't have one, why? And if you don't have one, ask yourself, if you don't have a vision, where are you going? Who's driving your life? Who's driving what direction your life goes? If you don't have a vision, you're living someone else's vision. Ebun's not living someone else's vision.
That's right.
Talk about Damien, a guy who has passion, who has this will to succeed, this desire to be a musician, a songwriter, inspire people. I can't believe it's the first time we talked about Inspire. Shivo, what's one of Damien's Twitter handles?
Stay inspired 07.
Stay inspired. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to inspire people with passion, inspire people with his vision, his determination, his resilience. Damien's gonna make it, not only because He's an incredibly talented musician. Damien's going to make it because he's giving back. He's trying every single day to make someone feel something that they haven't felt before, whether it's through music or through Twitter or wherever it is. You gotta respect the guy for that. You gotta respect the guy that is willing to take $400 and go across the country, seize an opportunity that he doesn't even know has presented itself yet. And then, last but certainly not least, you have Marc. You got a guy who has his own internal demons, has overcome his own internal struggle, and yet uses that to his innate advantage. It's an advantage to him that he went through that struggle, because now he has the opportunity to give back and be there for someone, all of his patients, all of his clients that need him the most. I'm sure Marc wished he had a Marc when he was going through his struggle. I'm sure Marc wished there were some dark days in Marc's life. I'm sure he wished he had someone there, and I'm sure maybe he did. But you know what? Marc gets through it, gets it, and he understands that being a masculine person isn't being a strong, man's man. Being a masculine person is showing up and being disciplined, doing the right thing doing the right thing for you, doing the right thing to stuff every day. So, with that, Shaba, I think it'd be a good time for you to give us some closing thoughts. Wrap this one up, man. This was fun.
It sure was.
It was cool to go back and revisit that.
We do hope to have a couple of these 4 that we just spoke of back on the show and do another little follow-up interview with them. As always, we're going to have another 5-Minute Friday out this week. We're going to keep rolling with those, and reach out to us. Connect with us on Twitter, at goodpodcast_. You can shoot us an email at podcastgood@gmail.com, and let us know what you think. Let us know, how things are going. Let us know what you want to hear, and we'll seek it out, and we'll bring it to you to the best of our ability. Thanks a lot for listening. We really appreciate the support. And this has been Good, the podcast for those that do.